Hey everyone, I'm on a mission to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I'd love your help to get there. If you're enjoying the content, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button right now and join the family.
The NASCAR garage is never quiet. Engines scream, radios crackle, crews shout instructions while cars blast past at terrifying speed. It's organized chaos. But on March 4th, 2026, something strange happened. The noise didn't just get louder, it got confused. Because suddenly, a name nobody expected appeared in a headline that spread across the racing world in minutes. Garrett Mitchell, better known to millions online as Cleetus McFarland, had just signed a deal with one of the most legendary teams in NASCAR history, Richard Childress Racing, the same organization forever tied to the legacy of Dale Earnhardt. A YouTuber famous for burnouts, outrageous drag races, and wild automotive stunts was about to enter one of the most serious and dangerous racing environments on the planet. And when that announcement hit the internet, the reaction was immediate. Some fans were thrilled by the idea, others were stunned, and inside the NASCAR garage, the debate started almost instantly, because to many drivers, it looked like someone had just skipped the entire ladder. Garrett Mitchell's story didn't start anywhere near a NASCAR track. It started on YouTube back in 2009. At the time, he was just another car enthusiast filming automotive content for fun, but his personality was different. Loud, energetic, and completely obsessed with speed, he quickly built a style that people couldn't ignore. His videos were packed with ridiculous car builds, massive burnouts, drag races, and machines pushed far beyond what they were ever designed to handle. It wasn't polished racing coverage or corporate motorsports content. It was raw automotive chaos, and that chaos turned into a massive following. Over the years, his channel exploded, growing into a community of millions of fans who tuned in to watch whatever insane idea he tried next. Today, the Cleetus McFarland channel has more than 4.6 million subscribers and thousands of videos documenting everything from turbocharged muscle cars to high-horsepower experiments that sometimes ended with smoke, broken parts, and a lot of laughter. But Cleetus didn't just build a YouTube channel. He built an entire motorsports universe around his brand. One of the biggest moments came when he purchased a real racetrack in Bradenton, Florida, known as the Freedom Factory. For most content creators, that would be an impossible dream. For Cleetus, it became the center of a growing motorsports empire. He began hosting huge events where fans could race their own cars, watch wild competitions, and become part of the same automotive culture that made his channel famous. Thousands of people started showing up. The events felt less like traditional races and more like massive car festivals built around speed and spectacle. At that point, Cleetus McFarland wasn't just a YouTuber anymore. He was an entertainer, a promoter, and a businessman who had turned internet fame into something much bigger. But somewhere along the way, something started changing. Making videos and running events wasn't enough anymore. The idea that kept creeping into the conversation was simple but incredibly ambitious. Real racing. Not drag racing or exhibition events, real NASCAR competition. The kind where cars run inches apart at nearly 180 miles per hour, and mistakes can end a race instantly. That's when Garrett Mitchell began quietly testing himself in professional stock car racing. His first real step came in the ARCA Series in 2025. For many drivers, ARCA is the proving ground before NASCAR. Mitchell entered 5 races driving for Rhett Jones Racing. On paper, it wasn't a huge schedule, just 5 starts, but the results were better than many people expected. He managed 2 top 10 finishes and even placed 9th at Charlotte Motor Speedway. For someone still learning the basics of stock car racing, those results caught attention. They didn't make him a championship contender, but they showed flashes of potential, enough to make people wonder if the YouTube personality might actually have some real driving talent behind the wheel. Then came 2026, and Garrett Mitchell decided to take a bigger swing. He entered the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Daytona International Speedway. That decision alone surprised many observers, because Daytona is not the place most rookies want their first serious NASCAR experience. It's one of the fastest and most unpredictable tracks in the world. Cars run in massive packs, drafting inches apart, where one mistake can trigger a crash involving half the field. But Cleetus jumped straight into the chaos. Early signs were promising. He qualified 12th, which shocked a lot of people who expected him to struggle. For a moment, it looked like the gamble might actually work. But racing has a way of delivering brutal reminders. On lap 6, things went wrong. His truck got loose coming off turn 4. The rear stepped out, the vehicle snapped sideways, and suddenly the race was over. The truck slammed into the inside wall and slid down the front stretch. 6 laps. That was all it lasted. The final result showed him finishing 37th, and instantly, critics had new fuel for their argument. They said the jump into NASCAR was happening too quickly. They said the experience simply wasn't there yet. For many drivers, that crash confirmed their fears.
But then something happened that almost nobody saw coming. Just 2 weeks after that Daytona crash, NASCAR fans woke up to another shocking headline. Garrett Mitchell had signed a deal with Richard Childress Racing, a powerhouse organization with decades of history in the sport. This wasn't a small backmarker team looking for attention. This was one of the most respected operations in NASCAR, the same team that helped carry Dale Earnhardt to 6 of his 7 championships, the same organization that had built a reputation for winning at the highest level. During an interview with Kevin Harvick, Mitchell confirmed the news himself. He casually mentioned that he had signed a 2-year deal with RCR. Harvick was caught completely off guard. For a moment, it sounded almost unbelievable. Mitchell laughed and clarified that the agreement was part-time and focused on certain races, particularly superspeedways. But even with that explanation, the impact of the news didn't change. A YouTube star with 5 ARCA starts and 1 truck race was suddenly connected to one of the most iconic teams in NASCAR. Harvick's reaction was interesting because it carried a level of respect for the opportunity. He pointed out that Richard Childress Racing has always put serious effort into superspeedway programs. That mattered because these weren't weak cars or experimental entries. These were machines capable of running near the front of the field. The plan was for Cleetus to debut in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, driving the number 33 Tommy's Express Chevrolet. His first race would take place at Rockingham Speedway on April 4th. If things went well, more races could follow later in the season, including appearances at Talladega and Daytona. But there was an important condition attached to the deal. NASCAR itself hadn't given full approval yet. Officials made it clear that Mitchell's performance at Rockingham would be closely evaluated before allowing him to compete at the superspeedways. In other words, the debut race wasn't just another start, it was a test. NASCAR wanted to see whether he could run competitive laps, manage the car, and race safely around experienced drivers before putting him into the most dangerous pack racing environments on the schedule. For Mitchell, the moment felt deeply personal. In the official announcement, he described the opportunity as a dream come true, and honestly, the emotions seemed genuine. He had spent years building a life around cars, racing culture, and motorsports entertainment. Now he was preparing to drive a car connected to the same organization that helped shape the legacy of Dale Earnhardt. For a fan who grew up idolizing the sport, that connection meant everything. But while fans online celebrated the news, the reaction inside the NASCAR garage was very different. Some drivers were supportive, others were quiet, and a few were reportedly frustrated, because for many of them, the path to NASCAR had taken years of grinding through smaller series, late models, regional circuits, ARCA seasons, truck races, Xfinity programs, thousands of laps, and countless financial struggles just to earn a single shot at a top team. That long climb has always been part of the culture of NASCAR. It's the ladder drivers are expected to climb step by step. So when someone appears with limited experience but massive online fame, it raises questions. Some insiders reportedly began asking whether this opportunity was about racing skill or something else entirely. Because there is another side to the story that cannot be ignored. Cleetus McFarland brings something to NASCAR that very few drivers can offer: millions of eyes. Every time he uploads a video, hundreds of thousands of fans watch. His events draw huge crowds. His audience includes car enthusiasts who might not normally pay attention to stock car racing. Sponsors understand the power of that reach. The company Tommy's Express Car Wash clearly saw it when they stepped in as the primary sponsor for the number 33 Chevrolet.
With hundreds of locations across the United States, the exposure from a driver with millions of loyal followers represents a massive marketing opportunity. That's the phenomenon some people now call the Cleetus effect. When he races, a completely different audience suddenly starts paying attention. Drag racing fans, YouTube viewers, automotive enthusiasts who rarely watch stock car broadcasts. For a sport that has spent years trying to attract younger and digital audiences, that kind of crossover attention is extremely valuable.
But excitement doesn't eliminate risk. NASCAR competition is not a YouTube challenge or a burnout contest. It's one of the most demanding motorsports environments in the world. Drivers race inches apart at speeds approaching 180 miles per hour. One small mistake can send multiple cars spinning across the track. Experience matters because knowing how to handle traffic, draft safely, and avoid disaster often takes years to learn. And that's exactly why the Rockingham race carries so much pressure. Rockingham is an old-school track with rough asphalt that chews through tires. Drivers must manage their equipment carefully and maintain focus for every lap. It's the kind of place where sloppy driving is punished quickly. NASCAR chose that race as the evaluation point because it reveals whether a driver can truly control the car under pressure. If Cleetus McFarland performs well there, the door opens to bigger opportunities later in the season. If he struggles, the critics will feel like their concerns were justified. For now, the debate continues to grow. Some fans are rooting for the ultimate underdog story, the YouTuber who shocked the racing world and proved he belongs. Others believe NASCAR may be moving too quickly, risking the integrity of the ladder system that drivers have followed for decades. Everything now comes down to one moment. One race. When the green flag waves at Rockingham Speedway, the arguments and speculation will stop. Because at that point, there's only one thing that matters. Whether Cleetus McFarland can prove he truly belongs in NASCAR. And until that checkered flag falls, the entire racing world will be watching.